What is up? We are here in El Mirage. This is where I used to live. Still lived when I first made this YouTube channel. It's been a while though. Anyway.
This place all sound really nice. When I was younger, they did not.
Yeah, I tried. Well, basically, I was trying to explain to them, like when we first moved out here, it was all dirt around us, and they,
I remember we used to have to drive quite far away.
So it was all dirt, and then they were developing little pockets of homes, and this nice Walmart right here was not here. So we used to have to go to Surprise to go to Walmart, and then they finally built this one here. Once they built this Walmart and the tax money stayed in El Mirage instead of going right across the street, like literally right across this intersection is Surprise. So when everybody shopped there, all the tax money went over there. So after everything, they did not have this nice grocery store. None of this stuff was here when we lived here. Workout gym place that's back there, all that. So we were just tucked right here all by ourselves. And anyway, so when we first got our home out here, they were giving these away. I mean, they were giving them away. And how should I say? The homes were between $100,000 and like $140,000. And we had one-story, four-bedroom, smaller four-bedroom right over here. You go find it. Last I saw, it still had our little satellite dish, the small little DirecTV one that I installed on it. Anyway, we bought it for like $120-something thousand in 2002, and we stayed there a while, and then we moved out, and then we moved into Glendale. Nope. This home sold several times.
No, we went to the rental house.
Yeah, we rented for a little bit before we got into the house that we bought. So anyway, the home sold a couple times. And I gotta see where we're at. So we were the one right next door to the two-story. So it's probably this one right here. Let's see. It's probably this one right here. And if it is, I extended the funky thing about ours, and one other reason it was ours, our backyard was a little bigger, they said, because of the way the house was pushed forward. Yeah, and then but the driveway sucked. It was a short driveway, and so I had to extend it. And it's still there. It is. It still has the concrete extension. Yeah, the backyard's little. They haven't done crap to it. I'm kind of getting ahead of myself on all this, but we do know this one's ours. Yep, there's that little front. So see how short the driveway is? An F-250 regular cab would not back into that spot where that white car is. That's where I used to park. It would hang over onto the sidewalk, and somebody come and try to give me shit about it once. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? You know, I got a service vehicle, and look how short the driveway is. Look at see how longer the other ones are. So we didn't realize that. We were just, we were young buyers, and we got it. And like, oh yeah, buying a house over here. And it's angled the highest of everybody else on there. So anything you put neutral just roll right out of that front driveway. So it was short, it was steep. I added the extension to the right of that car and the 4-foot extension on the left side. And you can kind of see where it probably used to be sidewalk that turned and connected up there. I added the sidewalk on the side to the little single gate, and look how close we were to the neighbor. So this house, this plot, we could have managed the house, but just the parking, just where it was, just kind of sucked after a while. And if I have a classic video, maybe I'll throw it on the screen, of me testing out a bunch of start kits. That's on this house. I had an oscilloscope hooked up, an old school oscilloscope, testing out like Super Boost versus 521 versus Kickstart. Most of the Super Boosts were either in line with the NTC thermal type start devices, or they had the fixed 1 second on, which was really bad. So we had grass back here. I laid sod, so it looks like it, but that all died when this was left unlived in for a couple years after the recession and everything, and we got out of this house. So there used to be sod back there, and it's still there's no grass, no nothing, just a tree that my wife thinks might be the same tree we planted. Just kind of all messed up back there. So this house is small 4-bedroom. I think they might be calling it 5-bedroom because we closed off the front little not loft, but it's like a little front little area We closed it off and put French doors, and then my daughter was in it. My friend stayed in it once. Basically, it was an office. You know, it didn't have a closet. So now my wife pulls this up. This house is sold several times. They look like they might have added a closet into that room, that front room, to call it a bedroom, to say it's a 5-bedroom. This house sold last time for $375,000. I still can't believe it. I'm gonna double check and look it up, and if it's true, I'm gonna put it on the screen. $375,000. This house we got for in the 120s. The house next to it, 3 different people lived in it while we lived in that first house that we got since it was dirt. They built it. We were the first people to live in it. We liked the people that lived in the 2-story. The people that went into the 2-story lived in it for like a year or so, and then when the prices were first hiking and they all broke the $200,000 mark, they sold it. And then this other family moved into that 2-story to the right, and we liked them. They had a family. The first one wasn't a family. They were like yuppies, or what do you want to call them. They did like kids and stuff. It's really weird. They were like what they're calling dinks now. Dual income, no kids or whatever. This is before they called themselves that. That's what they were. All trendy, kind of lifted their nose to you. So a family moved into the one on the right, and it was awesome. They were really nice people, but they got one of those predatory ARM mortgages. So it was affordable when they moved in. The economy did not get better. It matured, and then their mortgage went up like almost $1,000. They couldn't afford it, of course, so they left, they abandoned it or whatever, and then the bank took it over, and then at least one other family lived in that while we were still there. So we seen them get up into the 200,000s, and then right after that is when it crashed, and then these houses, some of these houses were listing for like $90-something thousand, 2-story and the 1-story ones. So that's the history of it, and then rinse and repeat since then, and now, last I know, that house, the one right in the middle, which was our house, sold for $375,000. Shitty plot, really no property. Can't hardly park there. And it's never had, ever since the recession, it's never had a real lawn or anything in the backyard or anything. And it's sold for that much money, almost $400,000. And the house we're in now is almost double the square footage of this. And we paid less than $375,000 for it. It's worth $500 plus now, but we paid less than what this house sold for last time. So
I thought you were at a...
And there's one other thing I want to film here. I was just wanted to check it out. My daughters also wanted to always... They always like driving through here because they were kids when we lived there. And then the daughter's with me now is 14. Well, we moved away when she was an infant, or within 1 year, I think. Now, when we drove by here, I saw a freaking C-band dish. I gotta go find that.
Yeah, I was about to ask you about that.
Yeah, it must be on the next section over. It's towards the end here.
Right there. By that square pool.
Oh, I see it.
The house.
Yeah, I can see the white one now. Then there's also a white one. This is crazy. You can't hardly see it from here. But,
yeah, you can. A little bit.
There we go. So we're driving and getting ready to pull into Walmart, and I saw this. This is weird. C-band. This type of satellite dish. It could be for something else, but actual C-band television and that kind of use was over before this town, or at least this part of town, was ever built. So there's a couple big satellite dish receivers in the back. The white one, the smaller one, it could be for one of those older, old school internet ones, which there's no reason to have in this area. But this big black wire mesh one looks almost like C-band. So maybe somebody, it's a hobby to them. They're still into it. I'm surprised the HOA ain't giving them shit. There's a big actuator arm hanging way back that moves it. That is crazy. That is funny. Look at the size of that thing. They put it up high. I mean, I don't know. My cousin got into that kind of stuff like 10 years ago, and he had a whole bunch of old satellite stuff. He had, I don't know where he bought it, eBay or whatever, and had shipped or whatever, and he had a couple of these hooked up in her yard, looked very hillbilly in the eyes of her neighbors and stuff, I'm sure. And there was still some broadcasts on it, so he was just messing around. But I can't see somebody, in a newer home hooking this stuff up. I mean, he could be watching something else. He could be using it for a different technology, or he could have changed the LNB, the LNA, the low noise amplifier. I forget what the B stood for. I mean, that was a thing way back since 90 or before when I went to tech school a long time ago. But those are the, the different whatever frequencies and the horn, what it was tuned for, and what, and the amplifier is all built into it, or the preamp, whatnot. And so I guess you could stick something else in there. I mean, that's a huge thing. I mean, if you stuck like trying to get somebody's Wi-Fi to go 50 miles, you could. It wouldn't be aimed up at the sky like that, as the LNA or LNB is not offset. It's like right in the middle, it looks like. So you'd be pretty much aimed up,
dude, 15,
20 degrees or whatever that is.
It pissed off my phone.
Yep, up in the sky. So it's not line to line probably, because that's going up, up into the sky. Look up. I mean, I got this on slow. I mean, let's look it up like that. So I mean, it's not line of sight to another building. So I don't know what they're doing with it. It could be a hobby. They could have changed it to create another frequency. It could be searching for frickin' aliens for all I know. It is interesting, huh? Nothing else looks too weird or anything in their backyard. I mean to be spying or whatever, but I mean, come on, man. You put a dish like that in your backyard, someone's gonna check it out. So, and then the other one looks more modern, like something in it looks like an offset one, so it's actually aiming higher elevation than what it looks like. Again, that looks like something you'd almost use for two-way internet or something like that. So, oh well, just checking that out. Very interesting. But yeah, this was the old original hood. When I moved down here, I stayed in an apartment for 1 year, and then we moved into that house over there, and we stayed there a good 10 years or so. More than that. We stayed there a while, then we rented for a couple years until we could we got out of that house, and we rented a couple years until we were in a position to in the market and everything. We got the house we're in now. So the house we're in now we could sell for quite a bit, for some equity. However, you'd be screwed trying to find a house, and there seems to be some powers that be that are buying houses out from under people. I get a phone call like every couple of weeks trying to buy my house, but most of them are probably scammers, or they're investors, weird shady investors with weird connections. Not to go too political, but something weird is going on in the housing market, and it hurts the person, the family that's trying to get the homes, because somebody's like buying out houses, they drove up the prices, and then trying to push people into freaking rentals, or in multifamily homes. It's crazy. So anyway, let me get one more shot of the old El Mirage here, at least the side that we knew it, with Walmart in it. There we go. So that's what it looks like now. Walmart, just all homes now. It's not that much agricultural in between like there was when we moved out here. On the other southeast of us, like pretty much straight through, if you look across the screen, they had moved the police station, the town hall, everything got all new stuff, a skate park, all sorts of stuff they added after we moved away. So anyway, with that, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment, and all that stuff. And down here, just as we're fading out, you can see the Death Trap Goodman 2-story rooftops. And a pissed off gimbal.
That is true.
Yeah.